Hi guys, I have been asked several times if I would share how I do my monthly meal planning. So I plan all of my meals for a month and I don't have a very complicated way of doing it at all. It's very simple. You don't need to go out and buy any special notebooks or planners or anything. I just use a sheet of paper and a pen, or if you wanted to, you could just type them out on the computer and print it off, whatever works for you. The reason that I meal plan for an entire month is because I was just stocking up my pantry. You guys know that I do my Trader Joe's hauls once a month, and I used to just get enough things to make different meals out of throughout the month, and you can definitely do that. But I found that if I plan all of my meals for a month, I save money because I know exactly what I need. So I get enough tomato sauce or canned tomatoes or black beans or whatever I might need for different recipes. I know for sure I have that. So I don't buy a bunch of things at the beginning of the month and then some of them stay in my pantry and then I need to keep running to the store to get other things that I might need. So I definitely save money by planning all of my meals ahead. And also, as you're planning, you can plan things that might be a little bit more expensive to make and then some, cheaper meals instead of, each week you're trying to do that. And it just really helps. I notice a big difference in my grocery budget, and you do a lot at the beginning of the month. I mean, you have to come up with a month's worth of meals, so it does take a little while, but every week I just go to the grocery store and get fresh produce and maybe a couple of things, and I just pick from my monthly meals, so it's all done for me. So it's a little bit of work at the beginning, but throughout the rest of the month it's really easy and it saves a lot of time. The first thing I do is look at my calendar, and I use the Cozi app on my phone for my calendar, planner, to-do list, everything. I've mentioned that in previous videos, but I love that app, and no, they aren't sponsoring this video or anything, but I just really like it. But if you use a planner, you can definitely, use that for your calendar. And the first thing I look for is how many days in between my Trader Joe's trip, and this might not apply to you if you do your grocery shopping a little bit differently, but for me, sometimes I have to go to Trader Joe's at the end of one month because I don't have like 4 hours to go to Trader Joe's and get all my groceries and come home and record a haul and all of that on certain days. So I have to go a little bit earlier sometimes. Sometimes I won't go until like the 2nd or something. So it's not always 30 days or 31 days in between trips. So on my meal plan for this month, I actually had 36 days because I had to go at the end of October for my November haul and get enough meals for the end of October, and then it happened to be 36 days until my next trip. So I hope that makes sense, but you don't want to just assume that you need 30 or 31 days if you do your shopping once a month like I do. And then once I have the number of meals that I need, I just use a regular sheet of paper and I just number it with the number of meals I need. And I would suggest doing this even if you sometimes use leftovers or if you go out to eat or whatever. It just makes it simple. So I know that we need to eat dinner 36 days in November and a little bit of the end of October. And then I look in my calendar and see if there's anything that I know for sure is going to happen and I don't need to have dinner. So on my November list, I have Thanksgiving and date night. I know for sure those are 2 times that we will not have dinner here. So I just add those at the bottom. And some months there are other things like we'll have dinner at a friend's house, or we're going to do like a potluck type thing with friends and I'll just write that on there, or I know for sure we're eating at someone else's house and I'll just write that on there. But I don't always know those things, so I go ahead and plan the rest of the meals because it's better to have enough than not enough. The next thing I do is check my calendar and see how many Sundays there are. And this might not apply to you either, but for me there were 5 Sundays in between trips, and I just have it in a bracket here with Sundays. And the reason why I do that is because on Sundays we eat our large meal when we come home from church, so I usually do slow cooker meals. Sometimes in the summer I'll grill something, so I'll have it all marinated, but we like to use the slow cooker so that it's all ready when we get home. So for sure, I know that I want those meals to be slow cooker meals. I want them to be slow cooker meals that I don't have to do a ton to when I get home. You know, sometimes they need a little extra 15 minutes after you put some cornstarch and water or whatever in there, and that's fine, but I don't want anything like really complicated when we get home from church because we're all hungry. So those are my first meals that I put in, and I'll explain how I pick the meals out in just a minute. So then I have the rest of this to fill in, and it's starting to get filled in, you'll see. And what I do is look at my menu from the previous month, and there are a few meals that I didn't end up making the previous month because of whatever, we ate somewhere else, or you know, we decided not to make a big dinner that night because the kids were gone, or whatever. You know how life is. Sometimes you have things that you didn't end up making. Well, I know that I have all of the stuff in my pantry for these things, and I might need to get some fresh ingredients. I might have, you know, not bought the cilantro or whatever for a particular meal, but I know that I have the things that I need in my pantry for these things. So I go ahead and write these on my menu list. So it's starting to fill in a little bit. I have been trying to make one meatless meal a week. Sometimes I do two. That's all I can really get away with because I have teenage boys and my husband's a bigger guy from working out, not from an unhealthy lifestyle. So they really like to have meat, but sometimes I can get away with it, and it's usually only once a week. If it was just me, I could go meatless plenty of times, but that's just my family. So you might eat meatless every night, and this might not apply to you, but because I'm trying to do at least once a week, I go ahead and put those meals in. So for November, I had 6 here. And if you're wondering why some of these are circled, those are things that I want to record. So those are in there, and it's starting to fill up. And then for the rest of the meals, I look and see if there is anything I wanted to try. So if I have something on my Pinterest board, or if I have an idea in my head of something I want to create, I'll go ahead and write that in on my list. And if you are looking for some meal ideas, I do a What's for Dinner video and put it up every Saturday, and I usually link recipes that I have. I also have a few playlists with recipes in them. So I have one with all of my recipes for dinners and sides and things like that, one for slow cooker recipes, and one for baking. So I will link all of the playlists below. So if you happen to see a recipe on here and would like to find it, if I have recorded it, it will be in that playlist. So then I have the rest of it to fill in, and usually there are probably about 15 to 20 more spots to fill in. And you know, you have to come up with all of those meals, and you can definitely repeat meals. If you use leftovers, you can fill in spots with leftovers. The way that my family is right now, like I make the spinach lasagna roll-ups, and it's a whole pan of them. We eat it all in one day. It's just, you know, the stage of life I'm in, so we don't always have leftovers, and if we do, it is definitely not enough for a whole meal. So I usually eat them for my lunch, and if my husband is home, he will eat those. So I've been asked about that a lot. I used to be able to get 2 meals out of things, but I can't right now. And I love cooking, so it really doesn't bother me. But if you use leftovers, definitely, you know, say you put down a lasagna for one of your meals, well, the next spot could be leftovers if you happen to use that for one of your meals, you know, the day after, a couple days after, or something like that. So you can definitely fill in spots with leftovers. As far as deciding what to make for all of the other spots, I use my recipe binder, and I did a whole video on this recently, so I'll link that below. But I have tons of recipes. I love to cook, and I know a lot of you watch my videos, so you know that I have a lot of recipe videos. But in here, I have a list of all of the dinners that I make, and I'm always adding to it. Hopefully you can see everything okay. But in here, I have a list of all of my dinners, and it's actually a few pages long, and I have it divided by protein. So I'll have like beef dinners, chicken dinners, pork dinners, meatless meals and everything, and I'll just look over that and see what I want to make, see what I haven't made in a while. I also have the list of my meals from the last month, so I can look over and see what I made last month, so I'm not like constantly repeating myself, even though that isn't really a bad thing. If you like to have the same meals every month, you can definitely do that and there's no problem with it. I just like to cook and be creative, and it's part of what I do here on YouTube, so I try to have a lot of variety. So I just pick from there. If you have a Pinterest board, like I said, you can look on there and see if there are recipes you want to try, or even just to get ideas of things that you can make. And then each week I will pick out the meals that I want to make. So I just write them on an index card, and these are the meals that we're having this week. You don't even have to plan what particular day you're going to have something. It works for me to do that. And you know, I'll go ahead and pick off of my list a slow cooker meal that I want to have. And then I also look at my calendar. If it's basketball season, I know to plan a lot of slow cooker meals, because sometimes the basketball games are pretty far away and we have to eat either really early or really late, and it's just nice to have dinner all set. Or on Wednesdays we go to church and my kids have youth group, and we need to leave the house around 6:30, but we have to get ready before that. So I know not to make anything too complicated, or make sure I have enough time to make whatever I'm planning to. So if it's the day that I'm going to be gone a lot, definitely throw something in the slow cooker or make something easy. Or if it's a day that I know I'm going to be around, it's okay, I just need to start dinner early. So you know your schedule and what your kids have going on and everything, and just look over your list of meals and plan your meals for the week. I also highlight my meals as I make them, and I use a highlighter rather than crossing them out so that I can still see them for when I want to plan the next month's meal. I can still access this. I also do not highlight them until I actually make them, even if they go on the weekly meal plan. I just wait until I actually make them, because you know how life is. Sometimes you plan a meal and you end up not making that particular thing, or you eat at someone's house or go out to eat or something. So that just keeps it neat and up to date, so that when I go to make my weekly meal plan, I can choose from the things that aren't highlighted. Also, I wanted to mention that I do plan my sides out as much as I can. You know, sometimes I change it up a little bit, or I will just simply write vegetable and kind of get what's on sale or what's in season or whatever. But I do plan most everything out so that I make sure I get everything I need at the grocery store. And I also plan breakfast, lunch, and snacks, because I like to bake a lot of those things, and you guys have probably seen in my food prep videos. This also helps to make sure I have all of the ingredients for those things as well. And sometimes I will decide to make something different because we have really ripe bananas, and I always have flour and sugar and stuff like that on hand. But just in order to keep within my grocery budget, I kind of plan those things out as well. So, you know, again, it's just so simple. I just have breakfast for my guys because I don't eat a lot of this stuff. They like these things, but I tend to do like smoothies and eggs and things like that. But we do the bacon and egg muffins. They're kind of like savory muffins. I do the freezer pancakes, granola, bagels with cream cheese, or smoothies. So that's what I had for my guys for breakfast this month. And I also made some like oatmeal peanut butter muffins. It's sort of the middle of the month right now. And then for lunches, my husband is super busy, so he has to pack a lunch. A lot of times he works at home, and I'm just saying that because in case you've heard me mention that before, right now he's really busy, so he needs to pack a lunch. But he takes lunch meat, egg salad, or tuna salad. So I need to make sure that I get enough tuna and lunch meat and eggs and everything at the grocery store. It just really helps to plan all of that out as well. My kids like PB&J or turkey. I make pepperoni rolls. They love to have pasta in their thermos, so I need to make sure I have enough pasta. I need to go to Kroger because that's the only place I can find all natural pepperoni. I need to make sure I have enough bread flour to make these. You know, I just like to have all of that planned out as well. And then for snacks, I have granola bars, trail mix, the apple cinnamon muffins, pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, banana snack cake, and I don't think I'm going to get to these pumpkin ginger snap cookies, but those are some things that I wanted to bake, so I make sure I get enough pumpkin puree at Trader Joe's. I get all of the stuff for trail mix and everything, and that just really helps me to stay on budget. And then down here I plan some of the things that I want to have for my breakfast, lunch, and snacks. So I have smoothies, sometimes they do scrambled eggs, gluten-free oats for snacks, fruit, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and then I like to make my spring rolls, salads, hard-boiled eggs, leftovers, and then I like to have rice or gluten-free pasta on hand depending on what I want to have for lunch. So it really has helped me to plan everything out that way, and that way I have everything I need when I want to make something. I'm not running to the store multiple times because I forgot something or decide to make something at the last minute. Everything's planned out and it really saves me time and money. I hope this was helpful for you. Definitely feel free to adapt it to fit your life and your family. Thank you so much for watching.